Philippines had been a U.S. territory for 2 decades and was promised independence under the Jones Law of 1916. Progressive reformers saw the country and its people as a major target for modernization, and education was its main weapon. 7 forward-looking Filipinas came together in 1919 to create a school where young women could gain the knowledge and skills that would make them modern women. Paz Marquez Benitez was the first president of the Philippine Women's College. Jose Abad Santos was its first chairman of the Board of Trustees. Francisca Tirona Benitez was the second president, and with her husband Dean Conrado, guided the school from a house on A. Flores Street to its iconic Taft Avenue campus. In 1932, the college became a university, making PWU the first university for women in Asia founded by Asians. It provided a space where innovations in education flourished, and young people were encouraged to be the best that they could be. For over 100 years, the Philippine Women's University has been known as a leader in quality education. In 1934, PWU moved into its main campus on Taft Avenue, and since the 1970s has been co-educational. Located in the heart of Metro Manila, it is easily accessible by public transport and surrounded by affordable housing. Today's PWU offers undergraduate and graduate courses in several fields of study. Its business and management programs are responsive to the needs of industry, using evolving technology for global competence. PWU graduates excel in arts and sciences, education, social work, and diplomacy. Its fine arts and music programs have produced outstanding graduates through a holistic education that treasures heritage as well as excellence. PWU has pioneered in fields such as food science, nutrition and dietetics, medical technology, pharmacy, and nursing. PWU continues to play an essential role in producing graduates who possess the skills that make them competitive in the country and anywhere in the world.
A united community.
We may not be blood related,
but we Patriots are one big family.
Being part of the PWU community strengthens us.
Through the years, we support each other through good times and bad times.
We Patriots always have each other's back.
It's a big honor to be part of a community that is open to the ideas of each other.
It drives us to excel and be the best version of ourselves.
That's the standard of excellence that we Patriots strive for.
Thankful that
other for who we are.
And like a family, we treat each other equally.
Actually, PWU gave us a home and helped us to be a patriot in society.
We may have different individual drums and instruments,
but we march to the same beat together as one united community.
Do you want to march with our community of patriots?
I am a patriot.
I am a patriot.
I am a patriot. I am a patriot.
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, dear fellow Philomanians and friends. On behalf of PWU and the PWU Alumni Foundation Incorporated, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the outstanding Alumni Lecture Series featuring Ms. Arceli Chua-Gagajena, who will talk to us today about the use of technology in improving healthcare. My name is Marie Bediones Lee of the PWU Alumni Foundation, and I will be your host and moderator for this event. Ms. Lolly Enrile, immediate past president of the PWU Alumni Association of Southern California, will now lead the invocation.
Thank you, Marie. Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Simulan po natin ang pagpupulong na ito ng pagdarasal ng panalangin. Let's start this session with a prayer. Our Almighty and ever-loving Father in heaven, with sincere gratitude, we thank you for the gift of another day. Thank you for your ever-flowing and unending patience, kindness, and love that you shower on us every day of our lives. Thank you for everyone who gathered here today to walk with you. As we gather today for this seminar, we humbly seek your divine providence to help us share your grace to others. We humbly ask you for your blessings and guidance so that the activities set for this undertaking be successful. We ask you to open our eyes to see the wonderful things from this activity. We ask you to open our ears so that we may retain the invaluable knowledge. Open our minds for us to think clearly and wisely so that we put into practice what we may learn today. Lord God, when we are challenged, guide and inspire us. And when we are weary, energize us. May the work that we do and the way we do it bring hope, courage, and life to all with whom we minister. Our Father in heaven, we humbly ask you to shower today's speaker, Arceli Chua-Gagajena, of your greatest inspiration so that she may share the most of her knowledge, expertise, and heart to her topic. We pray that you bless all the committees in charge that they may be able to fulfill their task responsibly so that the objectives they've set may all be achieved. Bless our organization and today's attendees with wisdom and discernment, the administration and staff, and those in the medical field with commitment and compassion, and their patience with faith, courage, and strength. Enlighten us and give us the wisdom to understand the topics presented and discussed to help us engage in meaningful discussion. Help us learn and grow and love one another so that we may become better children of yours. We thank you, Almighty Father, for this precious time that you have given us. All this we pray through your Son, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Lolly. And now please join us in singing our national anthem.
Kayang magiging pero saan sinangalan, alam ng puso sa sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyat ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiin, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bukaw, may dilagang tulan, awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kisap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdiligig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidinig, lupa ng araw ng at ipagsinta mo'y langit sa piling mo, aming ligaya ng may mga kami ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Vivian Milan Talisayon of the PWU Alumni Foundation Incorporated, who will give us her opening remarks.
Thank you, Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, fellow Philomanians and patriots. Welcome to the PWU Alumni Foundation third quarterly outstanding alumni lecture in 2023. The Foundation Outstanding Alumni Lectures aim to instill pride in the quality of PWU education and inspire Philomanians all over the world to excel in their careers. It is a great opportunity for alumni to share their expertise with the PWU community and renew friendships via Zoom. Our distinguished alumna lecturer is a board member of the foundation. Before we proceed, may I request all of us to offer 1 minute of silent prayer for the repose of the soul of the son of our lecturer, Ryan Allen Gagajena, who passed away last month. May he rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our lecturer is a nurse based in Southern California, United States of America. Her topic is timely for us who are not updated on health and care equipment. She'll speak today on the use of digital technologies to improve health and care. How many of you are nurses or nursing students? Can you raise your hand or post the icon for it in the chat room so we will know how many students are in the audience? Nursing students or professional nurses or interns, no? Right? So do we see them? So maybe you'll have a head count, no? Later. In the open forum after the talk, do take the rare chance of getting nursing information you need from our lecturer. May I take this opportunity to invite all of you to regularly visit our Alumni Foundation website, PWUAFI. That's just one word, .org, for updates on our activities. This website is created and maintained by our lecturer and her son. We would like to invite all alumni to be a batch sponsor or co-sponsor of our planned golf tournament during the homecoming week in February in 2024 to raise funds for PWU educational assistance, facilities upgrading, and this lecture series. Our next Zoom lecture is scheduled in the last week of November 2023 at the same time, 9 to 11 a.m. Manila time. We are finalizing the date and topic with our invited speaker, and we will inform all of you soon as possible. So thank you again for joining us this morning, this afternoon, this evening. And now, let us know more about our lecturer, Arceli Chua-Gagajena, and enjoy her talk. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Dr. Talisayon, for your warm welcome and inspiring message. Just a brief background on today's activity. The PWU Alumni Foundation Incorporated hosts this outstanding alumni lecture series to highlight the PWU brand of excellence that the alumni carried through their respective careers and to share knowledge from various disciplines within its community. Our resource speaker today will be properly introduced to us by Ms. Aida Uy. Over to you, Aida.
Hi, magandang umaga rin po. Good evening dito sa California and the rest of the world. Yes, I'm Aida Uy, and I'm the youngest sister of Arceli Chua-Gagajena, our lecturer for tonight. Our lecturer is very accomplished in her personal family life, her profession, and in her community public life. Today's guest is a second child of 10 siblings, born to a Chinese father and a Filipino mother. Her 5 sisters are all PWU alumni. 4 were interns. She was married to Pani Gagajena, former faculty of PWU. They have 3 children, all grown up, successful in their chosen profession and raising a family of their own. They have 7 grandchildren, 3 already in college. Her youngest child is a graduate of Harvard University. Sadly, she lost her older son just recently due to a massive heart attack. May he rest in peace. She received her elementary education in Bungabong, Nueva Ecija, her hometown, at St. Mary's Academy, graduated in 1959. A CAPA Philomenian, contributing, achieving, participating alumna. Today's speaker completed her high school in 1963, obtained her Bachelor of Science degree in 1968, and a Master of Arts in Nursing in 1975 from PWU, the Philippine Women's University. Before migrating to the United States, she also obtained credits towards a doctorate degree at the University of the Philippines. After graduation, Arceli started professional nursing as a staff nurse for 1 year in her hometown from 1969 to 1981. 12 years, she was a faculty of the College of Nursing at PWU, an excellent mentor. She is respected, admired, and loved by her colleagues and students. Sally started as a staff nurse for 4 years at Little Company of Mary Hospital in Torrance, California, before she worked at Harbor UCLA Medical Center. From 1985 until her retirement in 2012, Arceli worked in various capacities and held different administrative nursing leadership positions at Harbor UCLA. The clinical specialties of our lecturer are pediatrics and information technology in healthcare. She is certified in ACLS, PALS, pediatric intensive care, HIV nurse educator, and from CompUSA, a certificate of completion in computer applications. Very notable accomplishments of our lecturer are 3 published articles in the Pediatric Infectious Diseases Journal as co-author, The titles of the articles are The Rate of Serious Bacterial Infection Among HIV, Pneumococcal and Influenza Immunization and Human Immunodeficiency Virus Load in Children, Nursing Informatics, where technology and caring meet. A very active alumni, Arceli's involvement and support of PWU alumni organizations and projects is continuous and ongoing as a member, an officer, an advisor, and a resource person. Other affiliations where our guest participates in community service are Davao, USA, St. Margaret Mary Church in Lomita, and the First Methodist Church in Torrance, California. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to introduce my sister, our distinguished speaker, lecturer, Mrs. Arceli Chua-Gagajena. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aida. So I thought Marie will introduce me too. So anyway, thank you. Magandang umaga sa Pilipinas and good evening here in the United States. And I noticed that there's so many international people that are joining us. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Thank you for the PWU Alumni Foundation for giving us alumni a chance so that we can share our experiences and our expertise in our chosen field. Thank you, Aida, for that kind introduction. Sita Sumagaysay was the one who actually summarized all my resume. So anyway, I would like to welcome especially the PWU faculty members and the students from the College of Nursing. I used to go home and lecture to them, so I miss those days. But this is good that I can connect with you via Zoom. So how many of you are using artificial intelligence? Raise your hand. How many of you are using artificial intelligence? Nobody? No, you are using artificial intelligence. If you are using Google, Yahoo, or your GPS or your smartphone, hey Siri, hey Google, those are all artificial intelligence. So you are using it. So now let me share my screen. All right, so my topic is digital technologies to improve health and care. So I was reviewing the different articles, different internet, and I came up with these ancient medical practices. And I said, aren't we glad we were born today? Why? Look at this, no anesthesia. Imagine having thigh surgery with no anesthesia. And I thought this was a scam. Using of ice pick to cure psychiatric problem, it's true. And then hypnosis, medical hypnosis. Up to now, this is still being used. How about this guy? Look at this. What do you think is he getting treatment for? He was trying to increase his height. But of course, it didn't work. When I was a student at PWU, we were using all these gadgets, a mercurial thermometer. But now we have the digital thermometer, which is an innovation. And then for sphygmomanometer, I still see this. But now we have this modern digital thermometer. And one of the things that I really was very happy with was the baby scale. Because I remember when I was working in the pediatric intensive care, We used to weigh babies, wiggly babies, and we have to hold them with 2 hands. But what was happening is that you're holding the baby with 1 hand and manipulating the scale to get it. But with this innovation, you just program it and you can safely handle the baby by putting the baby on the scale. Before I continue, are you seeing my sharing? Anybody?
Yes.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure. All right. Now, also, I remember when I was a student, there were no adjustable bed. And of course, for patients with difficulty of breathing, we have to put the head up. So we were taught to invert, at least I think this is only in the Philippines, we were taught to invert a chair and then use the pillow to prop the patient's head. But now we have the adjustable bed. Not all hospitals have this, but this one is really nice because you don't have to lift the patient from bed to the scale because there is a built-in weighing scale in here that subtracts the weight of the bed. And also, if you will notice, there is this thing which is a sensor. So if a confused patient tries to get out of bed, there will be an alarm that will go to the nurse to tell them that the patient is trying to get out of bed. One of the injuries of the nurses is the lifting of patients. But now we have all these gadgets, and I was just looking at the literature. They now have robots as nurses. They're the ones that take the patient from the bed to the bathroom. The RN is still there supervising, but the heavy lifting, because sometimes the patient will ring their bell and ask you, can I have a blanket? Well, the robot can do that for you instead of the human person. Also, when I was a teacher for 10 years, I used to teach my students how to compute. If the order is to infuse 1 liter of fluid to the patient, there is no machine that regulates it. So every now and then we have to count the number of drops per minute, and we have to compute how many drops it should be so that the 1 liter of fluid will flow to the patient. But now we have all these infusion gadgets that we can use. We have different piggyback. So for antibiotics or for pain medications. Now let me change gear. I want to introduce to you a real patient. His name is Conrado. Actually, Conrado was already, because he passed away. He was my brother-in-law. He's an American Filipino, and he stayed in the United States for 25 years. But they retired in the Philippines about 15 years ago to join their 3 adult married sons. They do not like Americans. They like Filipino women. So they went home to the Philippines to marry Filipinos. But my sister and Conrado, they kept their medical insurance here in Southern California. The one that is very popular is Kaiser Permanente. So my sister Carmen and Conrado will come here to the United States to have their annual or biannual checkup, their medicine and their medical supplies, and it's sometimes free or minimal cost. Now, Conrado had been diabetic for more than 50 years. And as probably many of you know, diabetes can produce a lot of complications. It can affect the eyes, the brain, even the teeth, the kidney, and the heart. Well, Conrado's diabetes was not controlled, so it affected his heart. So 20 years ago, he had an open heart surgery, and he was placed on medication to prevent the recurrence of a heart problem. But his current problem when he came last year was his kidney. His kidney wasn't working. He was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney disease. Now, this is the normal metabolic fitness. So if you are healthy, your normal blood sugar should be between 80 to 100 to 120. So when you eat, of course, it goes up. And then after eating, it goes down. But you can see that this is very tight. So this is A1C that measures 3 months worth of your blood sugar. The glucometer will only measure the real time or the current one, but the A1C is a better measurement of your blood sugar because it measures 3 months worth of your sugar. So the normal, you would like it to be below 7, 6.5. Actually, if it is 5.7, that's the best one. But Conrado's A1C was up to the roof. It was 10, it was 12. So this is what's happening with Conrado. I sat down with him and this is what I discovered. When he wakes up, he tests himself and also at night. When he wakes up, he tests his blood sugar. And of course, because he didn't eat the whole night, it was low. Sometimes it's even 60. So in his thinking, oh, I should not take insulin because the insulin will lower my blood sugar. But then Conrado eats breakfast, lunch, and maybe snack. So when it comes to dinner, his blood sugar sometimes shoots up to 400, 500, then he gives himself insulin. So at night, sometimes he will be hypoglycemic. This is the worst kind of metabolic problem because it affects all your organs, the high and the low of blood sugar. So Conrado was using a glucometer to test his blood sugar. And based on the reading, he will give himself an insulin shot. I have another brother-in-law who has this. It's a continuous glucose monitor. And up to now, he's doing well, except for bouts of hypoglycemia. But what's happening is every second, his blood sugar is being measured. So he will look at it when he doesn't feel well, he will have a reading. But now there is another innovations where even this monitor will send sensor to the insulin pump. And based on the amount of blood sugar, the insulin will pump it and inject it to the patient. So that fitness, the metabolic fitness, is always maintained, which is good. Now, what happened last year, September 2022, Carmen and Conrado came unscheduled because my sister said that Conrado wasn't feeling well. His color was grayish. He was having stomach pain. He couldn't eat. He couldn't sleep. So 5 days upon arrival from the Philippines, he was hospitalized. They have to call 911 because he was having difficulty of breathing. And he was diagnosed with COVID. So he was given Paxlovid and it resolved. But then, as I mentioned before, he had stage 4 kidney disease. So they started dialysis. But the one that really brought him to the intensive care unit was the gastric ulcer. Uncontrolled bleeding all over the stomach, all over the small intestine, the duodenum. So they did several procedures called endoscopy, colonoscopy. I'll talk about this later. And when I looked at his medical records, I noticed that Conrado was on high-dose aspirin and a blood thinner called Pradaxa. Why? Because he had problem with his heart. They want the blood to be thin and not to coagulate and affect the heart. Conrado was taking a lot of medicines for sugar, for his hypertension, vitamins, all kinds. Here in the United States, when you have a new medicine, the tech will always ask you, do you want to talk with a pharmacist? I think you should. Those in Southern California, you should bring all the list of your medicines and consult the pharmacist. Because, for example, these blood pressure medicine, losartan or whatever you're taking, and also the statin for cholesterol, they should be taken at night. Why? Because research showed that between 3 to 4 in the morning, that's where there's a lot of cardiac problem, cardiac arrest. So, next time, bring all your medicines and take advantage of that pharmacist. They're doctors, they know medicines. Now, I told you that I will explain what endoscopy is. Well, this is Conrado. Well, it looks like him. He was intubated because he was not doing very well. They have to put an endoscopy, which is like this one, with a camera at the end. There's a camera at the end to look for bleeding. And they have to do that several times. So it was like a roller coaster for our family, especially my sister, because they will infuse blood, he will be fine, he will bleed again, then they have to do endoscopy again. But now, look at this. Look at this. This is insidables. Insidables are swallowed, and it has a sensor to detect where the bleeding is. That's called insidables. Then this one is a nanobot from robots. Well, to give you a perspective how small the nano is, it's 1/1,000,000th of a meter. So it's like, think of the whole world, okay? And the golf ball is the nanobot. That is how small they are. And it contains a lot of whatever they put in there, like maybe neurons or thousands of it, to detect. See this one? It's a cancer cells. So this is injected through the vein, and it looks for the cancer cells to kill them. My husband passed away 5 years ago because of cancer. They were already starting this, but up to now, they're still trying to perfect it. So if you go to the doctor and you have cancer and you ask them, can you give me nanobots? They might not, because it's still under experiment. But there are many uses of it. It preserves healthy cells, and then it can also be used to remove blockages and plaques from the veins. Instead of stent, open heart surgery, there are a lot of future for the nanobots. Now, this is the electronic medication administration record that we were using at Harbor UCLA. When I was a student, the doctor will ask us, give 2 aspirin or give 2 capsules of antibiotic. We go to the medicine room, and from the bottle, we get the medicine. But now, everything is prepackaged. So when you go to the medication administration cart, you will get this for your patient. It has the time, the date, and also what is in there. Okay, and then you can record it here. When for our nursing students, we were taught 5 rights: the right patient, the right drug, time, dose, and route. So just like in the grocery store, we have scanners. We scan the medicine, and then we go to the patient and scan the barcode. And if it lights up, that means that is the correct patient, the correct medicine, and the correct route. So a lot of medication error is being prevented. When I was working in the pediatric intensive care, this is one of the challenges we have, because babies have very small veins, and also because of dehydration, their veins are collapsed. So there is now an innovation which is called vein locator. So what you do, just like a flashlight, is you use it to detect or to find out where the veins is. So this looks like the hand of a baby. So you can use that vein locator to find out where the vein is. Now, patient's electronic health record. Our doctors from UCLA rotate to our clinic, and they get 3 to 5 patients per visit. But what happens is that we bring to them the medical records of the patient. In 1980s, we were not using computer yet. So why was I interested in computer? Because I cannot control my mouse. I was looking at Ryan. I said, how can you control that mouse? And that became a challenge to me. So I got interested in computer. So my boss hired an information technologist, and she paid a lot of money so that she can, or he can, put all these medical records in the computer. Remember, there were no computers yet on that time when I was working at Harbor UCLA. It was in 1980s. But then it didn't work because that information technologist was not a nurse. So I told my boss, Dr. Keller, why don't you send me to computer class so that I will learn all the applications and I can put all of this in the computer, which she did. So I was in the medical records, completing all of this. What are the data that I was trying to get? Well, I get all the height and weight of the babies. What are their allergies? What are their medications they're taking? What are the medical history? So in other words, I was already doing the electronic health record, but that was in 1980. There was nothing yet. We were not charting online yet, but I was already doing that. So after 15 years working with Dr. Keller, which I love, because I was working with infectious disease, we were doing all this research, I saw an opening for a nursing informatic analyst. So I went for an interview, and the only thing I did was to show them the paper that I did, because the doctors from UCLA will just have 1 page of paper, and they said, you're hired. So I got it. So I stayed for 8 years as a nursing informatic analyst. And what I was doing was I was creating online charting for nurses and doctors. So we do that from scratch, and then we teach them to all the nurses and doctors at Harbor UCLA. It was a very nice job that I had. But I retired in 2012. Now, just to show you that at Kaiser Permanente, all of their patients have the privilege or have an account. So let's say, for example, I want to see my medical record, I go to my account. And this is what I see. Do you want care now? Do you want a telehealth? Do you want to email your doctor? Or do you want an in-person? Then I can schedule my appointment. Do I want a morning? Do I want an evening? And then all other care options, and this is my doctor. Now, the one that I like with online medical records is that if I have my blood drawn in the morning, let's say at 8 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, I already have the result. But you might say, I'm not a nurse. How would I know what these are? Well, just take a look at it. Be patient. Look at this, 0.71. This is my result. But it gives you the standard range. Normal is below 1.110. So it's normal, right? Now, this one is the estimated glomerular filtration rate. It's kind of hard to say. Mine was 89. If it's above 60, it's good. Well, what does it mean? Well, remember Conrado? His glomerular filtration rate was less than 15. So if it's less than 15, that means your kidney is not filtering all the toxins, so it's going back to your system. That's why Conrado was not feeling well. He was grayish because he was already being poisoned, but by all those chemicals and things that should go to your urine. It should go out. It is a waste product. It should not go back to your system. Now, at Kaiser, if you do not understand what this is, click it, and it will tell you what creatinine is. If you have a lot of creatinine, that means your kidney is not working. So I will encourage all of you to be proactive with your health. Find out what's going on. Even if it's a paper thing, research what's the meaning of all this. Then this is my sister's. My sister, this Carmenchita, was pre-diabetic before, but now he has diabetes. But it warns you. It warns you if you have a risk for heart, if you have a risk for diabetes. And then you can order medicines and check it out. Okay. Now, let me go to this dashboard. How many of you are driving cars? Most of us here in the United States, we are forced to drive cars. Otherwise, we don't have drivers. We don't have that luxury that you have in the Philippines. But look at all these gadgets. One time, I saw this in my car, and I was alarmed. I went to Jiffy Lube and I said, what's going on with my car? Why is this beeping? Why is this flashing? Well, it was just the tire pressure, nothing big. They did not charge me. So the car has some warning signals. Like, for example, your gasoline, if it is empty, it will flush, or your battery, or your oil. So take a look at your dashboard and look at all of them because they have warning. Look at this one. Maybe it's very small, but there is something here on this side. That means that is where your gas is. We should know that in the United States because we put our own gas. We do not know whether it's in the left or on the right, but that gives you where it should be. Now, this doctor is Dr. Snyder. He's from Stanford, and he's into gadgets. So he put a lot of gadgets here, arms, he even have it in his finger because they're testing it, Very early on, he is not sick yet, but the gadget showed that he has Lyme disease even before he felt the symptoms. And now I will show you your EKG can also be attached. Poor Ryan, my son has a smartwatch, but he told me that he's getting one with an EKG or electrocardiogram, so it can detect atrial fibrillation and all these gadgets. He has a smartwatch, but it's not the best yet, but they're coming up with all these different innovations. See this? All the different companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon is getting there too. They're trying to test all these gadgets because they will make money. So like these glasses, you can actually take pictures by using it. You just press on something, it will take pictures. Now, your saliva contains a lot of information. Even your DNA is from there. They swab it. But now, even your blood sugar can be tested because they test the alcohol. So they're researching on that. Your sweat, that's why they have this clothing. It will also detect all the electrolytes in your body. And the smartwatch, of course, the ring. So everybody is trying to get into these innovations. Well, I just got my smartwatch from my daughter, and the one that I love is the fitness. Because every time I walk, I used to walk with Ryan every day for 1 hour, and we put our smartphone so that it can test how many calories did I lose, how long did I walk, and all that. It can even show you your heartbeat. And as I mentioned, there is now a smartwatch that can detect COVID. Now, how are these going on? What is the algorithm or the principle behind it? So like this one, if this is my smartwatch, it goes to my smartphone, it goes to the iCloud, just like the internet, and it is given to my doctor. That's why my doctor knows my blood pressure. And one time he emailed me, he said, Arceli, your blood pressure is pretty high. Maybe you should adjust your medicine. And I said, okay, I'll take it again. So I took it twice. I think my position wasn't right, and it was fine. So he was on top of it, and I'm very glad about it. But if everybody is putting all this data to the doctors and to the hospital, can you imagine those number of data? Of course, that is a challenge. Okay, now artificial intelligence computer. So all this blood tests, x-rays, genetic information is fed into the computer, as well as thousands and millions, and maybe billions of data from other patients, from specialists, from journals, from all of that. How can you compete with this when they have all this data? When I was working at Harbor, we used to have conferences, and this is what the doctors presents. They collect all those data and they present it to the doctors, and they come up with differential diagnosis. What do you think is the problem here? So they diagnose. Now, the computer is the one that will diagnose because they have a lot of data. It can even suggest treatment options and prognosis. Now, my sister Ida has a Tesla. Actually, Tesla is using deep learning. All these words, I do not want to delve with it, but just to let you know that deep learning is very complex because it shows patterns, pictures, text, sounds, and other data. So what's going on with Tesla? It can drive by itself. No need for a driver. It has all these gadgets around it. It has those sensors, cameras, and I found out that Tesla have two components, and they have like neuron-like things, and they have to agree with each other to give command to Tesla whether it has to stop if there's a stoplight, or whether then they see whether there's people crossing, and it will also help with the GPS. Okay, with the GPS, where to go, where the least traffic is. Tesla is only level 2 out of 5, so there's still a lot of research going on, because I'm sure you have heard about Tesla having some accidents. So some drivers, they sleep while their Tesla is driving on its own. Now, radiology is mostly affected by artificial intelligence. Look at this guy. He's a radiologist, and he has a special education to be a radiologist. They go to special school, but it's a very boring job because they look at hundreds and hundreds of x-rays. And if the radiologist is not well-versed, maybe he's just a junior, there might be inaccuracies in diagnosis. Now, here comes artificial intelligence. Because of all the data, all the x-rays that it shows, it compares the x-ray to all those. Look at this. This is the normal chest x-ray. If the heart is bigger, it will diagnose it as cardiomegaly. Cardiomegaly means enlarged heart because of the measurement. And they do that for men, women, children at different ages. They have all those data in the computer. If they see that this is white, it should be black because of air, then the artificial intelligence would say, okay, pay attention to this. This might be fluid. This might be a mass. Okay, how about this robotic surgeon? There are now hospitals that use this. One of the advantage is that they have small fingers because the surgeon sometimes cannot reach the organs of the patient, especially if it's like inside the abdomen or inside the intestine. But this robot, because they're like pinpoint needle, they can reach. And where's the surgeon? Well, the surgeon is still there. He's on standby in case something goes wrong. Just like Tesla, you're not supposed to drive with your wheel not on the, okay, you should put your hands on the wheel, just like the surgeon should be putting that with these robotic surgeons. Now, let me just show you a very brief show that I love. It's New Amsterdam. It's a TV series. And let me give you the background of this. This the name of this doctor is VJ, and the head of the clinic is Dr. Max. Dr. Max is very compassionate. He was also diagnosed with cancer, but he was the medical director of a hospital. It's a made-up hospital in New York. It's a public hospital that accepts all kinds of patients, the poor, the immigrants, those without papers, they accept them. But they are in a red because they want to provide all kinds of services to the poor, but they don't have much money. So that is the predicament of Max. And let me show you what happened to this clip. This was taken like several years ago, but it is now real. Look at it.
Max, I need to talk to you.
Yeah, what's up?
She keeps coming back.
Should I be made aware of any suspicious activity?
Just stand down, Todd. She wants to teach a computer to replace me. After all the personal sacrifices I've made, just to have an iPad steal my knowledge, it's not artificial intelligence, it is my intelligence.
Max, we're doing dermatology.
I know. VJ, since I have no idea what you're talking about, I'm going to trust you to make the right decision.
Thank you. I won't do it, no matter how much our company is paying the hospital.
Come again?
How much are they paying the hospital?
They are
$160,000. Really? That's, VJ, my friend, I think that you and the iPad might have gotten off on the wrong foot.
My body's been sore and my girl saw this crazy rash.
I have a couple of theories. The first one, I feel that...
Diagnosis confirmed Lyme disease. An email is being sent to your account with detailed treatment information.
Már nem tudom használni a kezemet. Ha megpróbálok valamit megfogni, súlyos fájdalmat érzek. Nézze meg!
Something to do with your...
Nem tudok főzni, vagy a kertembe dolgozni, vagy akár az unokámat is tartani.
Sorry, but let me see,
A fájdalom csak akkor jelentkezik, ha használja a kezét.
Igen, pontosan.
És még hol fáj?
What happens next? We wait for the results from your CT scan. Unfortunately, it can take a couple of hours to arrive from radiology because we are all at them.
CT scan results have arrived. Diagnosis:
What?
ACA aneurysm.
What? Where? What?
Aneurysm is located on the anterior crinoid segment of the internal
Nobody
carotid
likes a
artery.
show off, so just shut up, okay?
Ne aggódjon! Az unokája hamarosan ismét a karjában lesz. Itt van néhány kép a szülők városából. Tanívaló.
És csodálatos.
I have to go. I need that back, please, okay? Okay. You keep it.
Okay, I have to go to the next slide.
Max!
Okay, now the question is, will artificial intelligence replace doctors? Can you imagine this Dr. Robert making her rounds, checking your baby, Well, they have scalability. They can cover a lot of stuff. They have memory, they have speed, and they're efficient. But are we ready to trust in something we cannot form a relationship with? Actually, artificial intelligence augments rather than replaces doctors, because you still trust your doctor. Your doctor still give you hope, the empathy, the human interpersonal relationship, the trust, and machine cannot do that. Now, let me just tell you about telehealth briefly. You're sick. The doctor told you to go to urgent care. So you wait there, you're seen for 5 minutes, and then you go to your pharmacy, and it's already 3 o'clock. You have to pick up your daughter. So that is the current practice right now. But what is happening in some hospitals is that you get care at home. You call your doctor, who is always there. There are doctors who are available 24/7, and you tell her, well, something is wrong, and the doctor will tell you, take a selfie, send it to me. And if she can diagnose it, she would say, okay, I already sent the prescription to the pharmacy. Then you call your pharmacy and you say, can you deliver it to me? And all of this, you are resting in bed, and at 3 o'clock you feel better, and then you pick up your daughter or your son. Okay? But this is the thing. The future is already here, but it's not evenly distributed. You would say, maybe that is good in the United States. How about us in the Philippines? How about us in other countries, developing countries? Now, they are coming up with a $35 tablet, maybe later on cheaper than that. Everybody has smartphone or even phones, right? So in Africa, they're doing this. And this is a project of United Kingdom in London. So the doctors were giving cell phone, and they put the patient's database in here so that when this baby comes back, well, the doctor already know what's going on. And then this one is an ophthalmologist, and he took pictures of the eye, sent it to the United Kingdom, comes back with a diagnosis. Is it a cataract? Is it glaucoma? Or what's wrong with the eyes? And this guy or this doctor is using an ultrasound scanner. So all of us have smartphone, and eventually maybe the Philippines can do this, if we have somebody who can do this for the Philippines, that would be great. Now, this is just a little thing that I saw. Even diapers have a treat P. It changes color when it's wet. And then what will you look like 25 years from now? I just threw that in. Now, too much computers, right? Because they look at the doctors. They spend 1.7 hours with the patient and 5.2 hours using computers. There's now a problem with this. Look at this guy. Look at his posture. Look at our kids. Now, security. You put all your data in the computer. What if the insurance company get hold of it? If you are very sick, like Conrado, your premium will go up. The payment for your insurance will go up, right? This is in China. In all parts of China, there are some CCTV. I think in the Philippines, there's some too. What happens to your privacy? What happens to your data? If you have HIV, everybody would know about it. If you have something that you are ashamed of, or you do not want everybody to know that you're pregnant, so there is problem with security. Now, robots, can you trust them to do your surgery? How about this? Can you send your children to school without a driver? This is bad. A robot dentist drilling the patient's tooth. I don't think so. Okay. Now, as I told you, the computer looks at pattern. This was early on. They are now into deep learning, but this was before. The computer was asked, which one are wolves, which one are dogs. And you know what the computer saw? She saw, or it saw, that they are all on ice. So they said, oh, those are wolf and those are dogs, which is not true. Because one of this, I don't know what, is a dog, and one of these three is a wolf. They look at patterns, but now they're better off. Now, the millennials, like Rain, hi, Rain, I know you're there. She said that she uses Chat GPT. It's an artificial intelligence. And colleges here are having a hard time now because college students, they put their essay and the Chat GPT will do it for you. I use it because I'm maintaining 2 websites. So before, my husband was my English teacher, so he was checking all my grammar and my my spelling and everything. And then he passed away. Then I asked my youngest son to check it for me, but then he was so busy. But now that I discovered through Ryan, oh, I miss Ryan so much. He told me, Mom, go to Chat GPT. So I did, and I wrote this. Sharing informatics. I was trying to make an article about my talk, and this is what came out. So practical experience insight from Harvard UCLA will add real-world context to the discussion. Even the words are good, right? So Lydia, I think is there. So I have been using ChatGPT, Lydia. Lydia is our journalist from Southern California. So this was before, or this is now. It's episodic and reactive. I think most of us are doing this. You have problem, shortness of breath, you go to the doctor, you get treatment, you feel better. Then you have shortness of breath, swelling, your blood pressure increase, you go to the doctor, you feel better. It's episodic and reactive. You only go to the doctor when you feel bad, when you feel something is wrong. The trend now is continuous and proactive. How? Well, with all those gadgets. Even at home, take your blood pressure, once in a while and be proactive about your medicine. Take care of yourself. So this is now almost the conclusion of my talk. From sick care to healthcare, episodic to continuous, physical to virtual, one size fits all to personalized, because your data is there. Do you know that you can go to your health provider, download all your medical information? So when you go to the Philippines or other countries, you have that USB port. And then if you get sick, you can just give it to the doctor. So she will know your background, what is your latest creatinine and so forth. And then instead of just one doctor, you can go to several doctors, specialists, And then human cognition, you can only know so much. Even if you are the most intelligent person in the world, you can only know so much. But the computer has it all. So from reactive to proactive to predictive. So, but again, it's not all good, because this godfather of artificial intelligence left Google because he saw the danger of artificial intelligence. He said, it's like a boiling water. All these companies testing all robots in Japan, in all other countries, China, they're testing all these robots, but there's no regulation. How about if this goes to bad people who will have soldiers made of robot, or maybe those, the Taliban or the ISIS, all those people, they can make bombs. They want to pause it. But Senator Schumann is trying to go into regulation of AI, but I don't know whether he will be successful or not. So to summarize, because we're on healthcare, it can revolutionize healthcare positively. There's many positive things in healthcare, but we need data protection. Here in America, we have the HIPAA. So when you go to the doctor, Like when you go to medical records, they will only release it to you or if you have consent. But we need robust data protection because all our data is there now. When you use Facebook, when you use all those social media, just just type your name and everything will come out. So we need protection. And then it will complement rather than replace human care, and it can improve patient outcomes. My last one, I don't know about all these people, but I'm sorry if I missed your name. But this was the initial people who was helping me. And thank you, Patrick, from media. And now we go to question and answers. Please turn in your evaluation per PWU-AFI. So thank you. I'm going to stop sharing and we can now go to question and answer. If I cannot answer your questions, I will go to ChatGPT.
Well, thank you so much, Arceli. That was indeed an excellent presentation. It was both comprehensive and interesting. So yes, we will now move on to the open forums. As Arceli mentioned, you can type your question in the chat box or raise your hand with using the chat raising of the hand, and we will call out your name to facilitate the question and answer. So we'll now go, can we view the gallery, please, so that we can see? Patrick, can we go to gallery view, please? So we can see everyone. Because we cannot see who is raising their hands. Okay, so can we go now to gallery view?
We are now on gallery view.
Okay, all right. So is anyone raising their hand? Any questions?
Lydia, I think, is raising her hand.
Okay, yes, please go ahead. Unmute yourself and ask the question.
Lydia, unmute.
Okay, that was wonderful, Arceli. Very, very informative. You know, we're all complaining that we have been hacked. Our Facebook has been hacked. Change your password. But it doesn't seem to work. You change your passwords, they still hack you. And most of the people say they are even Filipinos themselves who are hacking co-Filipinos. This question came up because of the visit of President Bongbong Marcos. When past President Noynoy came, we just presented our IDs during the conference when we attended the talk of former president. But now the consulate is asking every information, even pictures, and the communities, the organizations have been asked to submit 20 names of people who want to attend. And out of the 20, very few are joining because they are afraid to give all the information, driver's license, and your picture 2x2, email address, etc., etc. So, but all that information is out there. How come you get all these spam calls? How did they know your telephone number? How did they know your email? And so I was telling them, our group, the Kalayaan, that because of all this hacking and scammers, definitely the security has been increased, and that is just how it is. So what can you say about changing passwords? Does that really work?
Well, I had experience about it too, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But make sure that your password is complicated. Put a lot of dollars and question mark and whatever. Because if it's easy to decipher, it's easy to hack.
Okay, we have another question from Catherine. I think she raised her hand earlier. Catherine, could you unmute your phone or computer, please? Catherine?
Reggie is raising her hand. Reggie.
Okay, Reggie, please go ahead.
Unmute.
Hello everyone. I'm here from Southern California, from the Southern California Alumni Association. Thank you for your talk. Very informative. Congratulations, Arceli. The question is, I think we're all looking at, I'm not sure if I'm correct, are we all baby boomers here?
Well, we have students.
The question is there any data regarding the acceptance of artificial intelligence among baby boomers versus millennials versus Gen X? How much are the millennials, how comfortable are we with this artificial intelligence, maybe compared to the other younger generations?
Yeah. Well, I think there's more acceptance with the generation, the younger generation, the millennial, compared to the baby boomers. Because even with that TED Talk, even the doctors who was attending the conference, he said that he doesn't know how to do all of this AI that compared to his grandson. Even our grandchildren know more about the computer than we do. But I was really happy before Brian passed away. He was helping me with the website of the Alumni Foundation. He told me, "Mom, you're 75. They will believe you because you're already old and you're still talking about computers."
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Baby boomers,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Eventually. Yeah, I think eventually baby boomers will get comfortable with this. Not like the younger generation, like they were born into it. And, that's part of their life. For us, we are in transition from the old way of how we are with healthcare to this new technology, even the robotics. Thank you. Thank you, Arceli.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Regina, for that question. Do we have any other questions? We do have a class there. I think someone wants to ask a question. We have a whole class there. If you've noticed, a whole classroom full of students. Are there any questions from that classroom?
Yeah, for the young ones.
Yes.
Yeah, the class is meeting.
There is a question on the chat from Abu Erna. Can I ask a question here on chat? So, Arceli, if you can look at the chat, maybe they'll ask their question through the chat.
Sure. Yeah. So go ahead. Put it in chat and I will check it.
Go ahead, Abu.
Erna, Abu, please unmute and ask your question. There.
No, they want to type their question.
The question is, AI is not allowed in UP and other schools. What can you say about it?
Oh.
I don't.
Yeah, even in colleges here, with the Chat GPT, because what's happening is that the college students will put that in Chat GPT and they will submit that as their essay. So there is a program, there's an app that will catch you if you use Chat GPT. And also some of the colleges, what they do is that they test the students on site. That means they only come there with their pen and paper, no electronics, and they write their essay. So I can understand why the University of the Philippines and other schools is not allowing that, because that's like cheating. It's not coming from you, but it's coming from ChatGPT, who does it for you.
And we heard news too that a lawyer was disbarred because he was using AI for all the proceedings, for all the court proceedings and all that. So they can catch them. You're right. They know when they're using GPT.
There's an app. There's an app that will catch.
Okay, we have another question for you from Gilahan. Good morning po. Is there any established ethical consideration when it comes to the use of AI in nursing?
Nope. That's why I said at the very end of my talk, it's like a boiling water. Everybody is doing their own thing, and it's up to the government to do some regulations. So they even asked there should be a pause because, like, even Amazon wants to enter the healthcare. That means they are selling, they're selling health insurance. So they will have their own doctors, they will have their own telehealth with no regulations. So that's really the danger of AI if there is no regulation. Yeah, that's one of the things that's not really good about this artificial intelligence.
Okay, we have another question from Alicia Lopena. Please go ahead and ask your question, Alicia. She's from the classroom.
Yeah, she's the teacher. She's my classmate.
Okay.
We used to teach together.
Yeah. Good morning.
Please speak louder. Go ahead, please.
This is Alicia Lopena. I am with my nursing students from level 1, level 2, level 3, and some level 4. Say hi. Everybody say hi. Okay. So it's nice to see Arceli. Arceli was my classmate even in high school.
Yes.
And we were also classmates in the College of Nursing. I just want to say something that I have attended a seminar 4 weeks ago about this artificial intelligence. Okay? But it was in another university. And I found out in that seminar, the ChatGPT even gave a 5-item quiz. And I found out that this ChatGPT will be very helpful in terms of teaching in the classroom, because one thing that you can do with this ChatGPT is you can ask the artificial intelligence to make a PowerPoint. So, for example, I want a PowerPoint for diabetes, they will be the one who will be the one that will make the PowerPoint.
Right.
Yes. And then I would like to say thank you also, because your speech is very informative. You have shown to us, particularly the students, those things that we do before and those things that we are doing now using all these gadgets that are computerized. So it's very, very nice. Although there could be some deficit in terms of classroom, although if I discuss in the classroom, because those pictures that you have shown, I have shown to them the PCA pump, the IV pump. I have shown them a picture of the electronic bed. So our students are quite familiar with that. The only thing that we need is to have the actual device here in our classroom. Okay, so there are 2 students who have some question. So let me ask first Ms. Umari. Are you asked the question already? In the chat box.
Yeah, the question here, is this from Angel Ann? Angel Ann, is that you? Yeah, the question, do you think using AI really does improve the teaching learning process between the instructors and students? That's the question in the chat room.
Yeah, I think so, because remember, artificial intelligence contains a lot of data from different journals. So if you have like a question about, let's say, the digestive system, you can ask ChatGPT about it, and it will give you an outline what is wrong. Or let's say, for example, the one that I mentioned, what is the danger of taking aspirin and Pradaxa? What are the side effects? And it will give you all the side effects. It will summarize it for you. So I think when it comes to learning and teaching, this will be a very important tool, because you don't have to go to the library to look for books, because they have all the journals, all the But again, there might be misinformation. That's why you have to make sure that the source is reliable, like maybe a journal from Journal of American Journal, something like that, and not just from social media.
We also have one student who sent her question already, but it is about ethical issues. Ethical issues. Yeah. Answer or not? Okay. We have another student from the first year who would like to ask her question. Go ahead.
Sure.
Hi po. Good morning. I would like to ask po, since nurses are in demand all over the world po, do you see in the future po kapag generated na po lahat ng AI and mostly robots na po yung gamit for medical field, bababa po kaya employment rate ng nurses?
That's a very good question. The same thing with doctors, right? If we have already the robotic surgeon, robotic doctors, will it affect the job? Well, again, the interpersonal relationship is very important. The robots do not have emotions. They do not have that empathy. And also, sometimes they don't have that critical thinking. And who will regulate that? Who will blame? If they give you an advice, who is responsible for that? That's one of the questions. And that is an ethical question. Because if it's the doctor who gave you advice, you can sue the doctor. But if it's the artificial intelligent machine, who do you sue? Do you sue the, it's a robot. Do you see the maker, the one who manufactured it? So again, those are all questions in there. So will it replace nursing? I don't think so. It will augment. It will augment. Just like what I mentioned, the robot can do the menial job, giving the urinal, taking the patient to the bathroom. What about the RN? The RN is the one that will probably evaluate what are the needs of this patient. The computer right now cannot do that. So when you say this patient is, I gave this patient Tylenol number 3, after 30 minutes it's not working, then you evaluate that, and a person can do that. A nurse can do that, but the robot might not be able to catch that. Even the expression of the face of the patient when you interview them and they say, I am hurting, the computer cannot say, is that number 4, number 5, number 6? But you, because of the interpersonal relationship, you can detect whether this patient is really in great pain or not. So I don't think it will replace nurses particularly, but the ones that will be replaced are the factory workers. I think they're the ones affected. Like the cashiers in the grocery store. Right now, all over here in Southern California, there's only one cashier because everything else is computerized. You go to the computer and pay there. You can even scan all the things that you bought without passing to the cashier. And of course, I don't know how they will do it, but they have a certain way of catching whether you're a cheater or not. So maybe there's a scanner somewhere. So, yeah, those are the things that will be replaced. The radiologists, maybe they will only need a few who are really great. But I was talking with doctors because I still have contact with them. And I said, will it affect you? Because like for example, at Kaiser, I have relatives who are doctors and that they are not working full-time. They only come to the hospital twice a week. Why? Because they're doing online. So they said it's more profitable because they are doing telehealth. So if you want to talk with a doctor, they refer you to this doctor and the doctor call you, and this doctor is paid by patient. So if they see like 10 patients, then that's how much they will earn. So it's shifting. It's shifting. It's not inpatient anymore. It will be more like an outpatient or maybe a visit.
Okay, we have a question from Minerva.
Oh, Josie is asking question. Josie was my student. She has a PhD.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Unmute.
Hello, everyone. Hello, ma'am.
Unmute.
Dr. Diala here from Philippines. Yeah, actually, I will not raise a question, but I just want to concur what Ma'am Gagajena said, that the use of technology will not replace the impact of human interaction to the patient. But I would always say to our student, it will be a tool to enhance and to ease some work of the nurses. Now, in terms of the use of AI for the students to submit some requirements, it's now a challenge for all nursing educators to really know how to really determine if the work of the student is a work of a student or that's lifted from the internet by the use of Chat GPT. So we all know that Chat GPT has also limitation. There are some garbage entry there, meaning garbage, should I say, in technology, they usually say it's garbage because it has no scientific reference or basis. So not all entries of ChatGPT is acceptable, especially if you use it for research studies and some case study report. So the use of an app like a Turnitin can also help educators to really run the work of the students if it is, meaning it will not be considered as plagiarized. So it means there is no so much similarity index report, and they get it from the literature, but they do paraphrasing. Now, the limitation of most of the higher educational institution like PWU, we don't have that yet, that app, the Turnitin. We usually make it as our request, but yet because the subscription is very expensive, maybe I know it's in the priority of the administrator, but they're still working on it. And it is our prayer that one day PWU will have that app, so that it will be also our tool for educators to really make sure that we can screen the work of our students. And I also agree what Ma'am Gagajena said. We will not only also rely on the Turnitin or other apps. Teachers has also their way of verifying if the work of the student is not lifted from AI. They can do some, maybe an oral interview with the student to really check if the entry that is being submitted on the paper is really their work. That's all, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, Minerva. Yeah, interview them, test them in the classroom. So, I think that's the best way.
I think Johnny has a question there. She's on. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, thank you. I'm happy to be here. Let's put it that way. And my teacher has recognized me. I was going to say the same thing. The pace of your lecture is the same one that I had back in 1969. So anyway, we're dating ourselves. One thing though, I'd like to say, well, everything, the questions are well taken, because AI is a new thing, not really new because we already have computers way back in 1990. But at the same time, with these robots or computers getting into the picture of helping, what happens now to the nurses? I'm pointing on to the nurses who want to have a higher salary. Are they going to be getting out of the picture, or are they going to be competing? What is, I know I'm in Mississippi. I don't know what about in California, but we're still way, we want to have our money. by the way, I'm retired, but we need that money so that we can also have, our own human needs addressed. So what is your take on that, please? Thank you.
Again, Josie, can you summarize? I kind of got confused.
Sorry. I think basically what happens to those nurses that will be replaced by the robots. I'm putting it as quote unquote robots.
What will happen to them?
Yes.
Well, just like the doctors, they might have a different venue. So what I was thinking, I don't know how they can, maybe some of them can branch out to different things, like maybe an advice nurse instead of a bedside nurse, or public health. They can branch out to that's the nice thing about nursing. In nursing, you can branch out to different departments, to different work. Unlike, let's say, medical technologies, you are just in the laboratory. But for nurses, we can branch out. We can be educators. We can do management. We can do public health, And now the ones that are needed now are the advice nurses. The advice nurses are usually, again, just like the doctors, paid by hour. And most of the calls are from new moms. What do I do? This baby kept on crying. So they call the advice nurse for those questions. So they might branch out to different field in nursing.
Correct. That's true, because they have nurse advice line now, and it's being used. And it's good that it's there, and I hope that we graduate a lot of nurses. And I don't know the opening of the jobs, because we have a lot of talented people, but if it narrows down and you only need one nurse to have an advice line, so there's that balance. And of course there is no a replacement for human touch, put it that way. It is still, when you're sick, you don't want to talk to somebody who's just giving you whatever. There is such a thing as time to be spent at the bedside.
Right.
So, but I really like that. The topic is technology, and you hit it right there on the head. So I'm happy for that. And, I had some kind of idea because I heard you before, and I said, this is a different one. Way back, maybe 10 years ago. So this one is different, very different. And it's something that we should ponder on, especially when we are at we're Tesla stage now. We're not anymore on the gas stage. Let's put it that way. Tesla has the electricity, but we have to be, nursing became a nursing because of the human touch. Let's put it that way. So I like what is happening now, but at the same time, there is such a thing as, hopefully we can influence the people that are paying, the people that are in the hospitals that are doing this, that we're going. And I saw that film that you just said, and when they said they're paying so much, how many dollars, and it's my intelligence. It's not, I won't do anymore because they're taking it from me, right? Before the robots, the people are still thinking for them. They are the ones that are putting in these ideas and the scientific things. So we'll just continue and watch and stay there where we can always be together, and maybe on your side, later on in another conference, let's discuss this. Yes. I really like it.
I think the one that is not taken away by robots is the creativity, because people or human creates. That's why, you have all these scientists who are thinking, they have this project. Why do they think about it? why did Elon Musk thought about driverless car? So they have this creation, they have this project that they have in mind, and machines cannot do that. It's still human who creates, who thinks.
Yeah. Well, let's put it as Elon Musk needs the money, but we also need the money. That's another thing. So it's good to have, but at the same time, you're replacing something. And let's put it this way: you're going to the United States, coming from the Philippines, and you want your money, and then all of a sudden you get into hospital with AI. I mean, everybody is AI. You have a cell phone, you have these things, and it can be hurtful afterwards. Because what are you going to send to your family if you're being replaced? So there's the balance of whatever is necessary, especially for the patients, and we're all for patients. We really need to be with patients. So
I'd also like to point out, by the way, in this conversation, is that if you think about the global population, it's an aging population, and the boomers and the Gen Xs want face-to-face. We didn't grow up with AI. But those who grew up with AI may welcome it, but we need nurses, especially the Gen X, the boomers, and pretty much the aging population, which is, by the way, the bigger portion now of the population, if you think about it.
Yeah, when you're in pain, you do not want to hold the hand of the robot. You want to hold the hand of the nurse or the doctor. See, so that's the human touch that is missing there.
Yes, thank you. You taught me well in fundamentals of nursing. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Vivian, you have a question?
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Okay, go ahead. Else wants to talk?
Sorry, Vivian, we cannot hear you. And then you can do after Vivian.
Can you hear me now? No?
Still? A little better. Just if you can come closer to the microphone.
Yes, it's now on my lips now. I just want to comment on the teaching learning process and prohibition of AI at the University of the Philippines. I've not heard that it is banned because proper and ethical use of AI certainly enhances the teaching learning process. Like at the UP Open University, all classes are online, and now even grade schoolers use Google Classrooms, and Zoom is very popular. So it's just the ethical use, and like I tell my students to just acknowledge the source. If they're going to use Chat GPT or any, and there's a software that catches plagiarism. So again, if you want to sue the robot, sue the owner of the app or the robot, because it will depend on the extent and skill of the programmer. Because you can program a robot and there can be animation to make you happy. It depends on the creativity of the programmer, and of course it's limited by the memory of your gadget itself. So these are the real limitations. But programming can be very sophisticated, and if whoever is answering your question does not have the answer in its program, then it can just flash maybe an announcement, I'll get back to you in 2 days. And on hand would be a programmer that will insert the proper answer to the question, just like a doctor or a nurse would answer. So again, it's very open. AI is an open field in creativity, programming, in helping people, and of course abuse. It's always there, unfortunately. So when I teach, I can detect, even if I do not have a plagiarism software, because I can detect the change in the writing style right away. Suddenly it's flawless English. and uses words, that are, highfalutin words. So it's not coming from the student. So I just advise them paraphrase or quote. Those are the only two choices. You quote, so we know that it's verbatim, or you paraphrase, but still you cite the source. So that's the way, to be honest, that's the ethical use of AI. Just acknowledge the source. It's free. If it's not free, you have to pay for the use, because there's copyright. So for me, I just want to add to the comments given, and I agree with most of them. Thank you, Arceli. A very good talk. You've covered, I think, all the grounds. Comprehensive, as Marie said.
Thank you, Vivian. Alex, I think you wanted to ask a question earlier. Alex, you're on mute.
Actually, I wanted to assure the nursing students that here in New York, there is a shortage of nurses. And by year 2000, they are projecting about 40,000 jobs for you. So continue your studies, because there's still job opportunities in the United States. Forget about AI, okay? We don't deal with AI here. So we need bodies who will take care of our sick patients.
That's great to hear. Thank you, Alex.
That's all.
Yeah. Okay, so we can have two more questions because we're almost running out of time. It has been an interesting conversation. So two more questions from the audience. If anybody who would like to ask, please go ahead.
I see Carfreda Dumlao. I know she's in the board of nursing. I was just interested, are there cheaters in the board exam?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, right?
Jeez.
Any more questions?
So maybe not.
All right. Last call. Any more questions? Okay. If not, thank you all for your participation in today's lecture. And because we cannot accord our speaker with that resounding round of applause that she deserves, can we just wave our hands or clap our hands in appreciation?
Thank you.
A very, very comprehensive, interesting, and compelling lecture for all of us. So there we go. All right. And also, let's take this opportunity to take the group photo. So please open your cameras and show your beautiful smiles. So Ruth, please let us know when you're done with the picture taking.
Yeah, okay. Kindly turn on your cameras. Hello, Miss Mel.
Hi, Mel.
Dr. Dumlao. Naomi.
Ring.
As the world. Yeah, Dr. Deala. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. So now we would like to call on Dr. Vivian Milan Talisayon to present the Certificate of Appreciation for Ms. Gagajena. Over to you, Vivian.
PWU Alumni Foundation Incorporated Certificate of Appreciation given to Arceli Chua-Gagajena for her enlightening and motivational talk on digital technologies to improve health and care. The third quarterly webinar lecture in the 2023 Outstanding Alumni Lecture Series for the PWU community, alumni, officials, deans, faculty, and students. Given on October 21, 2023 in Manila, Philippines. Signed, Segavamor Castañeda Hamalera, Chair, Lecture Series Committee, and yours truly. So, Arceli, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So as we bring this program to a close, I would like to call on Mr. Alex Esteban of the PWU Alumni Association, Tri-State President, and PWU Alumni Association Foundation Internal Auditor, to give us his closing remarks. Over to you, Alex.
Thank you, Marie. On behalf of PWU Alumni Foundation, I would like to thank our speaker, Ms. Arceli Chua-Gagajena, who made a very thorough presentation on digital technologies to improve health and care. I must say that even though she retired more than 10 years ago, her teaching skills are very good and perfect. That's right? Our speaker discussed in detail how healthcare providers use digital health technologies to enhance healthcare service delivery and outcomes. Some examples you mentioned are home monitoring devices, such as the device for insulin testing, wearable sensors or devices for remote patient monitoring, electronic health records, making it easier for healthcare professionals to access and share patient data, electronic medication administration record, which means no more paper records, and utilization of artificial intelligence in healthcare. These advances in medicine are already available in the United States, and I hope it will become available in the Philippines in the near future as well. We hope that you find this lecture informative and engaging, and we appreciate your time and attention. A special thanks to nursing students who join us with this lecture as well. And I would like to mention that we have 4 doctors of social development from Indonesia also in the audience. So thank you for your participation. Regarding our next lecture series, we're planning to have it on the last week of November, but we're still finalizing the details. Finally, we would like to thank the PWU media team headed by Ms. Ruth Pañano for a job well done. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Alex, for your closing remarks. And to all our participants, I hope you enjoyed today's lecture as I did. And we look forward to your joining us again the next lecture of this series. And as we close our program, please join us in singing the PWU hymn.